And yeah, here we go. Welcome to the Hard Knocks After Party. What's going on? My name is Stick. Kind of doing double duty tonight. We don't have anybody in the booth, so I get to be in the booth. I get to be hanging out, but we just watched Hard Knocks, and I get to be with my homie Anson Wells. What's up, Anson?
How are you, brother?
Pretty good, pretty good. So much to do. So much to talk about today with that episode. That episode was just, I felt like I was watching a movie. Like, I saw someone put that in the chat too, but I thought like it was like I was watching Dead Man Walking, because I already knew who the hell was going to get cut and what the hell was going to go on. But also you knew who was going to make the team, and that part was kind of cool too.
Yeah, for me, this one was, we talked last week about it being the third date and kind of finally getting to bed and getting the win. And this was a lot different. This is the honeymoon's over. There's a little bit of fighting. There's some strife. We know that the Lions took their licks over the weekend. We know who got cut. This, for me, was my favorite episode. How about you?
No, I still think week one was like, I was engorged that whole episode. I mean, I don't know if it was just because it was all new, it was exciting, but like that first night was something special with Hard Knocks.
Well, you know that new always gets you excited.
Ain't no episodes like new episodes.
I thought there was a lot of questions answered today, and there was a lot of questions that emerged today. One of my favorite parts was getting a glimpse of two major players in the Lions, staff, really, in Brad Holmes and Ben Johnson. That was something that I have been looking forward to, especially the Brad Holmes, kind of meeting that we got a chance to see finally.
Yeah, I obviously I take notes every single episode, and the Brad Holmes thing was really cool. And I liked how they walked through like the position coaches and how they went to breaking down each position and who they were going to keep and who they were going to cut. Like they went from the position coaches, they went through the ranks, then it goes to the personnel coach, then it goes to the coordinator, then it goes to DC, and then it goes to Brad Holmes. And through that process, they gave us a Ben Johnson sighting.
Yeah, and we had been waiting for that. Holmes said something. He said, encouraging the artistry of the process. And his tempo, I really enjoyed getting a chance to meet him, in Hard Knocks tonight. He has a tempo and a silent strength to him that really conveyed throughout the meetings. And it was cool to see that process, especially when it actually impacts a team that you care about. Because we've seen this in the past, the magnet board with all the different names up there, and some guys get taken down, some guys get on the slant there. But seeing it for guys that you actually care about and have a tie to here in Detroit was different. But I really thought that there was a different feeling for any kind of leadership that I've ever seen out of Detroit. I can't remember any kind of stoic leadership that I really liked out of Holmes. When you see him, too, he's a young guy, and you see him with Campbell. The two of them, if they're successful, these guys can do this for 2 decades together, I think. That was the highlight for me, was seeing Brad Holmes. I'm excited about him even more than I was before.
Yeah, it was cool to just see how he had the command of the room and like how slow and deliberate they were with everything. Like it wasn't a hair on fire situation. It always seemed like they had complete control of what they wanted to do when they were making those decisions. And I like how it's just those two, right? Like they let everybody had their input. Like I said, I walked you through the progression of it. But at the end of the day, those two sat down in a room, man to man, and came up with their depth chart.
Yeah, they let all the cooks have some input, but at the end of the day, there's only 2 chefs in that kitchen, and I'm really confident in the direction that they're taking this team.
Yeah, I definitely am. Lots of people in the chat talking about that Eminem track. That Eminem track was pretty dope. Appreciated that. We got to find out the name of that.
Yeah, it's been nice to see a little bit of Detroit love in terms of the songs.
Yeah, it was Big Sean last week.
Yep.
Let's see. It was nice to see the coaches stick up for Reynolds.
Yeah.
You like that? You like the whole Josh Reynolds, not Josh Reynolds. You like the whole Craig Reynolds story, man.
Sure. Netflix, he was front and center tonight. Between the icy hot on his nuts and my favorite quote of the night was, if they were to cut him, you might have some offensive linemen knocking on your door. He's loved on that team. And another great quote in terms of Netflix was, this guy represents everything that we are. He's everything that we represent, and cutting him would have been maybe a blow to the morale of the team. Might have been something that we would have seen out of the Patricia era. But this is a team that really has a culture that they have brought, and they are establishing, and this guy is everything that represents. One thing that I caught early on in the Hard Knocks, and I never touched on that I wanted to bring up, we saw it again today, and that was their locker room itself, how it's been decorated. You see in the background, they've got the 1992, the 1993, and the 1957. Of course, our last playoff win, our last division championship, and the last time that we ever sniffed an actual championship nationally. But something I noticed today that I had not seen before was the established 2021, and that was huge to me, because it's like a brand new franchise, and that's really what we need in Honolulu Blue and in that locker room for the Lions is a complete new mentality, and these guys are bringing it. We saw it with them keeping Craig Reynolds, is again a guy that probably wouldn't have stuck in prior regimes, but again, he represents everything that this new Lions team is all about.
Yeah, and I mean, how about that feel-good moment at the end? Like, Craig Reynolds' dad of the year. Like, honestly, he gives his towel to the kid walking off the field. Ends up the kid sees the dad in the stands. I wonder if the producers set that up, like, hey, the guy who threw you the towel, that's his dad right there. Because that was like almost a Hallmark moment, right?
Very cool.
And he comes up to him, but the first thing the dad says to Craig Reynolds after the game is, hey, you know what I'm most proud? That you gave that to that kid, and that was his birthday. And, that goes back to what they were talking about earlier in the episode, how when they were in Indy, they treated everybody with respect in the hotel. And everybody was saying not only were they, like, good guys on the field, but off the field, they were exceptional men. And that's something that, like, character is a big thing, especially with Dan Campbell. But I like how they're, like, badasses with character,
Yeah, the culture change is not just on the field. That was a really cool moment. I'll tell you what, if we don't get Kabinda back right away, I am sure that we could send a contract offer to Reynolds' father, because I could see that guy running fullback all day long. The guy's a monster.
Dude's thick.
Yeah,
He's a thick dude.
Yeah, he is.
One of the things I also took away from this is Mark Brunell being excited for Jared Goff. Like, they made sure to go out of their way to highlight how cool and how good Jared Goff has been in practice. And it's like, dude, Dan Campbell walks over to him like, bro, you've been on fire. What the hell is going on? And I think it's just to do with just being more comfortable. And then, of course, they did a little, of his smoke show fiance. You got to show her too.
Yeah, she's real nice. We've gotten a lot of Goff cameos so far. This is really the first time that they kind of touched on him. Glad that they touched on him, so we got a chance to see his fiance. Congratulations on that, by the way, JG. However, he has some assets offensively finally. Swift is going to be healthy. He brought his boy in that is now on your dynasty team, the Serpent of Death, Josh Reynolds. But the guys that they were able to add this season, the emergence of Amon-Ra St. Brown, with, again, an extra year of comfort in the system, and maybe this genius, as we saw that label thrown around for his offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. But Goff does seem to be in a rhythm right now, and I hope so, because we're going to need him all year long. He's going to have to stay healthy. This backup battle is not looking too reassuring. But to hear that he's hot right now, and seeing that he's got AG as upset as he is, wanting to bring the hammer in practice because they got their licks the day before from the offense. It's what we need to hear. We need to hear that Goff has got this quiet leadership role that he's bringing to the offensive side, because we are going to need it all 17 weeks from him in order to have a real chance this year.
Yeah, and I wrote down another quote, like, I had 3 what the fuck moments, 2 bullshit moments on the first drive. Who do you think he was talking about? Because in the chat right now, where is it? King Cethos says Dan Campbell told the group that someone had 3 what the fuck moments. Do we know who he was talking about? Boyle. It's got to be Boyle, right?
Had to have been. He, we've got Moxie versus arm strength in this battle here, and Boyle surely did not bring any moxie and very little grit in the first, to the point where they showed us they were letting him play the entire first half, and they pulled him. I think he didn't even make it through the first quarter. But what we saw out of Blau was moxie. The guy was taking licks. He wasn't giving it up. He knew he was down 9. There's no way he's going to win, but he wanted that last touch.
Right, and he didn't want to come out of the game with some BS injury.
Yep.
But it was weird watching the exact moment Tim Boyle lost the starting spot.
Certainly.
He's like, should we put Blau in? And in that moment, it was already over for him. Just like we saw the exact moment where Pimpleton got kicked off the team. Essentially, when he dropped that ball, it was, well, we can put players in position to make a play. It's up to them to see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. There was 3 legacy moments there that you saw guys. That might be their entire legacy right there. The Pimpleton drop, the Boyle interception, and then Easy. Well, it was either that terrible joke that got him cut, or it was that terrible block that nearly took Blau's knee out from him.
It was like 2 blocks in a row that he almost got Blau murdered.
Yeah, he seemed very disinterested. He needs a little more football.
He wasn't going to make the team.
He needs
right?
a couple more years of seasoning to get an opportunity. The physical tools are there, but his head, his intensity, his desire, I definitely question after seeing that.
I still don't know half the guys that made the offensive line, like Logan Steinberg, Evan Brown, Tommy Kramer, Matt Nelson. I'm glad they made it.
That literally sounds like a law firm.
Right. It sounds like the cast of like an 80s sitcom.
Yeah.
Let's go to the chat here, everybody. Hey, how you doing? Thank you guys for being a part of this. Make sure you like and subscribe, because we only got 1 episode left after this.
Yeah, but then 17 more after that.
I know, but how bittersweet is this right now, man? One episode left of Hard Knocks. Have you gotten what you wanted so far out of this?
Yeah, absolutely. I've gotten even more, because we got so excited coming in last season with this new regime and all these new players, and it was a frustrating season, and we didn't really know who these guys were. We didn't really kind of fall in love with them until maybe after the Justin Tucker kick, but it was really those final wins towards the end of the season that we kind of got a little juice for these guys. There couldn't have been something more perfect to give the Lion fan base than this Hard Knocks gift this season. There couldn't have been a better timing. It's super sad that it's coming to an end next week. And honestly, it's super sad because we might have to wait a long, long time for them to come back. But we might also get a mid-season in just a couple of years, because this team's going to be good. We've captured the nation's imagination and interest with Dan Campbell up front. And there's some intriguing storylines otherwise. But the Lions may not have to wait another 13, 14 years to get back on this, but I'm certainly going to miss it after next week.
Yeah, and because of entertaining moments like getting snapped by the rubber band when the guy was trying to run away, and then they highlight Craig Reynolds just dying, laughing, and falling onto the ground. But we talked about it early on. Can the Lions become America's team because of something like this? Because they've been enduring. They haven't shown these guys to be a bunch of assholes out there. They've shown them to be hardworking guys, Detroit version of, just put your nose down, get it done type guys. You can root for the underdog. Dan Campbell's a likable guy. You even saw referees talking to Dan Campbell we need more guys like you. When's the last head coach for the Lions that ever got respect from the referees, period, like that? Obviously, we haven't had Hard Knocks following around, but it was just nice to see, because, the Lions, we've gotten kicked in so many times because of the refs. So maybe now they won't screw us as hard because of Dan Campbell.
Well, and it's more than just Dan Campbell. I think that this show is going to play a huge part in it. That and winning, of course. But I wouldn't be surprised to see if the jersey sales and just, Lions memorabilia is up in general over the nation. But it's more than just this show and more than just Dan Campbell. It's this kid Hutch. When was the last time you can remember a guy that we drafted that was more than just a player here?
Right.
Because this guy's
an icon.
Yeah, he was really becoming
And Ndamukong Suh is probably the last legit brand.
Yep, and unless you were a Lion fan, who liked the guy?
I loved Ndamukong
But
Suh.
that's what I'm saying.
He's like Bill
I loved
Laimbeer.
him
If
here.
if you weren't a Pistons fan, you hated Bill Laimbeer.
Certainly.
Right?
And I still like the guy, but he was bigger than his play. And his play was big. His play, he didn't leave anything on the field. And Hutch isn't either. But this is a guy that's going to be mic'd up all the time. This is a guy that's going to be followed and talked to and crowned as Detroit football king for a decade here, assuming that we can keep him. But he is truly so much more than just a draft pick. The way that he talks throughout the game, the way that he leads in the huddle, just that presence. It's something the Lions have never, ever had, and it's going to truly help us take that step to becoming, one of the nation's teams. Like you said, are these going to be the more than just the lovable losers?
Well, here's something to that point already that if you were on Twitter earlier today, you saw that the Lions-Steelers preseason game was the most watched preseason game of this season, and it was the most watched thing last Sunday, period, across the board. So I don't know if that's because people love the Steelers or it's not the Lions, right? Or is it because we're on Hard Knocks? Now we're starting to get that national love to where, holy hell, like our games are becoming must-see. They want to know what's going on because they're following the storylines.
That's wild. I didn't know that. Yeah, we're going to have to back it up, though. I have a sneaking suspicion that the first month is going to be tough for this team, and that could cost us a little bit of that national viewership and interest. But I see this team being a very tough out in the second half of the season, and maybe for 2/3 of the season. I think that they could, by the second month of the season, really capture fully that interest of people outside of Detroit. You know that we're all in. You know the Kool-Aid is dripping from all of us right now. But
it's seeping. I even got another new T-shirt for Dan Campbell on, man. Like, we're ready to go.
Loving that one.
I am.
Loving that one. I'm left with the same thing that I was 2 weeks ago. Felt a little same old Lions-ish. And we can talk
in the game?
Yeah,
I thought the game was just crazy because our defense looked pretty damn good. It was our offense that was the issue, and of course, no starting running backs. Jared Goff's not in there, but I thought our defense looked pretty good, and Dan Campbell said that too. Literally, I wrote down his quote. I think we got a defense because they let up 9 points, but 2 of those field goals one was from a turnover, and the other one they got the ball deep in their zone too. I forget how, but they were both quick changes, and they held them to just those 3 points on each one of those occasions, and that's what we need out of our defense.
Yeah, and we watched the game together. Obviously, the Swift and Goff and Hawkinson not being in lineup. That's going to change things quite a bit. And we were very excited about how the defense held through, especially 3 quarters. I think if you have an offense that's able to move the ball, you're not going to be giving up such field position. You're going to be holding the ball longer to the point where those 19 points are probably a lot less. I am a little worried about what the offense is truly going to be when they're all out there together. But I think Swift is that piece that could truly take this team to that level that guys teams are struggling to stick with us in terms of time of possession. It's just going to be a huge question of whether or not that defense can stay on the same plane as our offense, and if they do, they can win 8 games. They can win 9 games.
14 games. They can win 14 games. No, Easy was in the chat talking about, like, it's crazy that we are on Hard Knocks and still don't have any national games. But I agree. I think they're gonna flex us to some of the games, especially after seeing those ratings performances in preseason. That's going to help us get a national game.
Well, we may not be on national TV, but I know that you guys will be doing something for Monday Night Football, right?
Yeah. Come out to the Coliseum with Easy and, of course, Spence. The heavyweights are going to be there. We'll be watching football. We'll be eating steak bites. It'll be a very gentlemanly night of experience and gentleman stuff.
There will be a lot of talent in the house, on the screen as well as on the stage. But I will say this: if you don't know a whole lot about the heavyweights, or you're a fan of the heavyweights, These guys in person are even better. You have got to come out and have a beer and watch a football game with these guys and join Woodward, that is, over on Mondays.
Spence says he can drink more beer than me. I think he can get me on beer, but I got him on hard liquor.
Yeah?
Yeah. And we'll figure that out on a Monday night at
do you like those old
at Coliseum. I'll do anything.
Now, my question is same old Lions. Did it feel like that for you? Because it felt like that for me a little bit. I felt like we regressed in terms of, we got the starters for a first half. We didn't no points in the first half, Samuel.
Yeah, but once again, that goes back to no Blau or no Goff, no Swift. I didn't think Swaggy played at all. So we really weren't running our whole first team offense out there. What did concern me is how Watt schooled us on a couple plays. Yeah. That was concerning because he wasn't even touched, and then we schemed to just unblock him and run away from him, and his ass chased us down. So that was very concerning, that if they're going to have a strong defensive end, we need Penei Sewell to be able to handle that, and he did not.
No. I was concerned. I thought, if we don't have Goff in there, we don't have our best, passing weapons, which I consider Swift being one of as well. Let's pound the ball down their throat. Let's show off our offensive line. And I didn't like what I saw from our offensive line, at least in the first half of series.
Yeah, it wasn't like against the Colts when they were just blowing people off the ball.
Just grading roads out there, but they weren't this last Sunday. It's going to be interesting that first week. It's going to come down to the offensive line and whether or not we can meet and steal the time of possession over anybody that we're playing. And at that point, we put our defense into a position to be able to win. AG's got him tuned up, man. I love that guy.
Yeah, AG's the man, and I like how him and Ben Johnson were going back and forth. One of the comments that Amon-Ra St. Brown made, though, that I was super excited to hear after that play call, he's like, "Man, Ben, you a genius. You a genius, Ben." And obviously, you want to hear that out of your wide receivers, but it's just nice to hear because we haven't seen much of Ben Johnson. We haven't really decoded what the hell he is, which is great. The less he's on tape at this point, the better for us. Because the minute we put our offense on tape, it's going to be copycatted, and they'll be able to study it and obviously be able to defend a lot better. So I'm glad that Hard Knocks isn't really putting everything out there on Ben Johnson.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for it to actually manifest in good play calling because there hasn't been good play calling in this town for 30-plus years. It's just boring. It's not creative. It's non-winning play calling in terms of offensive football. And everything that I keep hearing from the heavyweights and from Amon-Ra St. Brown, this guy truly is a great offensive mind. But I got to see it. I've got to see more than what I saw. Like you said, they're going to hide a lot of that stuff, and we're not going to see what our really exciting offense is going to look like. But I want to see that really exciting offense. I don't want to see runs every time on first down and passes every time on second and long and constant third down situations like we have in the past. I want to see some creativity. Use that offensive line, Ben.
Yeah, definitely need to see some creativity. Now, the question of the night. I think everybody in the chat may have... you know what? I'm going to put up a poll real quick. Have you ever accidentally put Icy Hot on your nuts?
I have purposely put them on other things so other people will get them on their nuts. Does that kind of count?
Elaborate, please, while I'm typing this out.
I mean, we were high school athletics and just got them in some jock straps. I'm thinking back to what was that, Revenge of the Nerds. It was like salad. They're pouring that stuff on all of it. So yeah, we did that once to somebody in high school sports, but it wasn't me.
I mean, I've been victim to it by myself. You put it on your shoulder, before you start pitching, and then next thing you know, you're scratching your balls, and you're just like, man, it feels like air conditioning down there. And they're just like, oh my God, no, it's burning. That's not air conditioning. So yeah, Netflix, we're out with that nickname for Craig Reynolds. It's gotta be Icy Hot. It's Craig Icy Hot Reynolds.
I get no fight from me on that one.
And I think that's a better nickname than Netflix anyways.
Well, Netflix, a lot of people don't really understand it, and when you tell them it's cute, but when you tell them why he's called Icy Hot, it's much better.
Right, and why is he called Netflix again? Because that's what he was watching when he got the call to come play for the Lions, right?
That's right.
Which is a cute story, but, I mean, Netflix, come on. No.
That's like
Icy Hot.
Kurt Warner, they never called him Grocery Store, right? They should have.
Did they ever call him the Bagger? Did you ever watch that Kurt Warner story? I never.
It's very, very good.
I never watched it.
Yeah, it's better than Blindside in my opinion.
Really? Mm-hmm. All right.
Blindside was good.
It's Kurt Warner though.
The guy who plays Kurt Warner and the girl who plays his wife, the girl who played Rogue in X-Men back in the day, they both kill it. I always liked Kurt Warner though, so greatest show on turf.
Easy saying he's conflicted now. I'm assuming that's on the nickname. No, there's no confliction. It's over. Netflix is done. Put it away. It's over. It is now Craig Icy Hot. Like easy. Get a T-shirt that says Icy Hot on it and put Craig Reynolds' face in the middle. Let's get that up on the Woodward shop.
Honestly, the amount of products, fake products that the Lions have inadvertently put out in the last 2 or 3 weeks is pretty astounding. Going to have a whole catalog of awesome Lions shirts for you.
Ooh, here's a great question by Serge Henderson. Do you guys see any of the people that did not make the cut being a threat later in the football season? Tom Kennedy. He goes to Tampa Bay. He's catching, 60 balls from Tom Brady?
That's a very specific scenario that actually could happen, but
100% that could happen. That's it. That's the only thing he's going to be useful at.
I was a little disappointed to see Igwebuike leave. I thought he had a lot of different roles on the team in general, that he brought a lot more than just running the ball. Other than that, I don't see too many. I thought we were kind of we definitely were short on talent. This year, it kind of seems like the talent level is meeting our cut level. And we will be putting some guys out there that are going to make some other teams, but we're not going to be desperate for talent like we were before. And I don't think we're losing much that we're going to regret. I think next year we're going to start looking at guys that we're really upset about losing, that we're hoping make it through to stick on the practice squad. But I still think we're about one season away from really losing talent that we're going to regret.
Yeah, Fun Sims has a good Justin Jackson.
We talked about him.
That may be, that's somebody you brought up while we were watching. That may be somebody. And I still like Jared Davis. I think he's got to play somewhere. Obviously, he sucks a lot more than I thought he sucked. I lost a pizza bet to Maz. Now I got to buy Maz lunch because he didn't make the roster. Like, how do you not make the goddamn roster,
what
bro?
What kind of pizza are you going to get him?
We're gonna get him Chubby Charlie's for sure.
Yeah,
that pickle pizza.
Amazing,
ooh, that pickle pizza's so
Chubby's
good.
Is amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely gotta pay up on my bet. But yeah, Justin Jackson I think is probably the main one out of everybody that we cut. So that dude was running hard here.
Yeah, we were watching that game together and we just couldn't figure out. Okay, third quarter, this guy is not. I mean, he's not getting touched for 6 yards. He's had two 14-yard gashes. It's running really, really hard. Your boy Jamar, I guess he's the one that we kept. I felt
Jamar Jefferson's no joke, man.
Yeah.
If he didn't get hurt last year, he would have done some damage. I'm a big Jamar Jefferson fan. I loved him in that zone running scheme. Outside of that, he's not going to be your guy that like cutting up and just doing great things. But he's reliable. You put him in the right situations, and he will perform for you. Yeah,
we have a very intriguing running back room. Everybody's got a little bit different skills and abilities that they bring.
Yeah.
And they all seem pretty capable of being able to be in there for any kind of given situation.
Yeah, Brandon Kinder's asking why Jamar Jefferson over him. For that exact reason. I mean, Jefferson was better last year. Like, Justin Jackson's had his chance. I mean, he was on the Chargers for a decent amount of time. I know, Anson, you were high on him for a long time.
I think that Jackson should have been the keep, personally. I think that Jamar, considering his time with the team and his youth, is what, got him to stay. Jackson, to me, I prefer the experience. That was a great offense that he left in L.A., but I'm happy with the Lions. Running back house, I don't think that it's a big deal. It all comes down to Swift staying healthy anyway. That guy truly has the opportunity to be one of the 5 most impactful players in the NFL on the offensive side of the ball. And this is the year that he needs to put it together.
I'm shocked that we're carrying 4 tight ends. That should say a lot about, I think, the packages that they're planning on running this year. A lot of 2 tight end sets, because you don't carry 4 just to carry 4.
Yeah. If we're going to win games, we're going to have to hide our defense a little bit. And that's all going to come down to the offensive line. So I'm all for a couple extra big dudes on the end there.
Yeah, well, and Dan Campbell, obviously former tight end, so he's like, you know
like
what?
them.
We got 4 roster spots, only 5 for wide receivers, but we need 4 tight ends on this squad. Like,
makes sense.
Hopefully, we get a little more out of James Mitchell and Shane Zylstra. Zylstra.
It's fun to say.
Yeah, we're not. Zylstra will be cut when J-Mo comes back. There you go. That's probably a good point.
Are you excited for that?
When Jameson comes back? I mean, it's not coming back. It's appearing for the first time. And, yeah, I mean, you saw him in that national championship game before he got hurt. He was unguardable.
Yeah.
Unguardable.
Yeah, he's truly the best option to be the next Tyreek Hill that we've seen in a while. My question is, are we going to see a cameo from him at all next week, or are we getting no J-Mo through 5 weeks of Hard Knocks?
I still don't know what you're expecting. Just him throwing the ball up on the fucking sideline? Like, what do you want out of J-Mo? He's doing nothing. He's standing... That would literally be like them doing a feature on somebody who just showed up to watch practice.
Well, I'm over Pimpleton. Can I have some J-Mo, please? And some J-Mo and Verner's, please? Something.
I can't wait. I can't wait till he's on this squad, man.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really fun. It's going to be fun to see a guy like that zooming around. And we really could have another player that's bigger than just the pick. Putting him and Hutch together for a 5-year-plus run it's truly exciting as a Lions fan. It's been a long time. Been a long time since I felt this.
Yeah, people are asking, did we keep Maurice Alexander? No, we did not. Here, I can run down the sheet for you real quick. Quarterback, we kept 2, Jared Goff, David Blau. Running back, we kept 4, DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, Craig Reynolds, Jamar Jefferson. Wide receiver, 5, which will potentially be 6, right, when J-Mo comes back. Amon-Ra, DJ Chark, Khalif Raymond, Josh Reynolds, Quintez Cephas. Tight ends, TJ Hawkinson, Brock Wright, James Mitchell, Shane Zylstra. Offensive line, Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, Vaitai, Panay Sewell, Steinberg, Brown, Kramer, Nelson. Linebackers. We had to keep somebody, right? Malcolm Rodriguez and Alex Anzalone are top on this depth chart, along with Chris Board and Derek Barnes. But glad Derek Barnes kind of improved a little bit.
Is that a 6th round pick on top of our linebacker list?
Yeah.
I love it.
And Malcolm Rodriguez is awesome. Add Josh Woods and Julian Okwara in that when he gets back from the disabled list. Defensive backs, Owawarriye, Tracy Walker, Deshaun Elliott, Jeff Okuda, Mike Hughes, Iffy, Juju Hughes made it, Will Harris, Chase Lucas, Kirby Joseph, who we all love, Bobby Price. Defensive line, Charles Harris, Aleem McNeil, Aiden Hutchinson, Michael Brockers, Austin Bryant, John Kaminsky, Isaiah Buggs, Levi Onzurike, Demetrius Taylor, and then our specialists, Jack Fox, Austin Siebert, and Scott Daly.
It's going to be an interesting one. There's nobody that I'm upset to see go. There's no big surprises for me. We're gonna learn who these guys are real soon here. Man, I can't wait for this season to start. I'm truly excited for this version of the Lions. We haven't ever had any interest, I think, collectively in this team like this since 1993.
Yeah.
It's been amazing.
I mean, 2014, there was a lot of interest. There was a lot. I mean, when they started making the playoffs again every other year under Jim Caldwell and made it once under Schwartz, like those were the highlights of the last 20 years, which is crazy.
But has there ever been excitement like there is right now? I mean, I didn't feel it in those the Caldwell years. I didn't feel it for any of those teams.
I did in the Caldwell year. I love Caldwell.
Yeah, you were a big fan.
How could you not be? Winningest Lions coach of all times. Brought us to the playoffs 50% of the time. If you don't like him, you don't like football. And you don't know football. It's that simple.
Well, I mean, I'm not even going to get into that debate.
Yeah, we'll get into the Caldwell debate another time. But right now, Dan Campbell's our coach. The Lions are on Hard Knocks, and next week is our last episode, Anson, and then we move on to the regular season. We're going to be at the Brass Rail for post games, so you guys make sure you come down every post game, even away games. We're going to be doing like a tailgate brunch every Sunday for the post games. And it's going to be awesome down there, broadcasting
brunch,
live.
Huh?
Yeah, I'll be drinking lots of adult beverages and
Those Bloody Marys.
No, I don't like Bloody Marys.
If they're done right, they're pretty good.
I don't like tomatoes.
Ah, gotcha.
So yeah, I don't really mess with Bloody Marys.
I need an over/under
Okay.
on whether or not we're going to see the Hutchinson girls again.
In my life or on Hard Knocks?
In the last episode of Hard Knocks.
I followed that one chick today on Instagram, the tiara wearing one, whatever her name is.
The hotter one or the more talkative one?
The one that wears the tiara.
I don't recall the tiara.
Okay, that one. But I followed her on Instagram today, so
I'm gonna have to check that out.
yeah, I was just it was suggested to me, so I was like, oh,
How's
hell
the
yeah.
follow? Is the thread all right?
Yeah, she's all right. She does a lot of charity work and stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty girl, nice girl.
We appreciate the Hutchinson family here in Detroit.
We do, especially if Aiden can get us to the playoffs.
No doubt about that. Are we
Yeah.
going to see them, though, again in the last episode? Because we haven't seen them the last two.
I don't
were
think
pretty
so.
big focal point in the first two.
I think they got the feedback that they wanted from the first one. Like, all right, guys, let's peel this back a bit. But Amon-Ra St. Brown's dad, I could go for some more of him.
Yes. Mr. Universe, I
What
could
has
go
he
for a
been
little
up
more
to
of
the
that.
last two episodes?
I'd like to see his dad up against Craig Reynolds' dad.
Come on, he's Mr. Universe.
I don't care, man. Craig Reynolds' dad, I'm not sleeping on that, man. That dude could bring it.
What was the name of the school that Craig Reynolds went to?
Oh, Cutsville?
Cutsville. When
That's a
they
deep
showed
cut.
that flag for the first time, I was like, I have never heard of Cutsville in my life.
It looked like they were playing in Germany.
It really did. They were playing at Hogwarts.
Some guys were still trying to grab his flag. Some guys were trying to tackle him. But I mean, to see that story was very cool. You know, we all kind of fell in love with Netflix with Icy Hot last season.
Yeah, Icy Hot.
And to see a little more on him and really get the in-depth and see the family, not only a couple weeks ago with his brother, but then to see the other side of it with his father, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool to get a little more on him and then eventually see him make the squad as well.
Let's see. Question for Sticks. I love when people pluralize my name. And Wells, are you guys going to do the same thing like you did last season with a bottle of champagne? I hope you guys do that again. I love that. I mean, listen. Wins have been hard to come by my entire life here as a Lions fan. I celebrate each one like I'm a soccer player scoring a goal. Like, I'm taking off my shirt. We're popping bottles. Anson let me pour champagne on him last year. I didn't want to ruin the equipment, but, you know, it is what it is. And those were great wins. Like, that first win was a huge monkey off the back. After what we go 0-8, 0-7 to start the season, like, man, when we got that first win, it felt so good.
It was quite literally a drought.
All of those wins felt good.
Yeah, the first one was very nice. And I mean, I'm down for 17 champagne baths this year. First week, hopefully we don't have to wait 3-4 weeks for it. What do you think our chances are of a champagne bath with the Eagles?
On week 1? That's a tough one. Week 2, I'm going to have the champagne ready for sure.
Okay. So
I guaranteed a victory over the Eagles last year, and we got our face kicked in. So I'm not doing that this year.
yeah, they're
I
kind
learned.
of sneaky good in my opinion this year.
Yeah, I learned my lesson. All right, guys. Well, thank you for watching the Hard Knocks After Show right here on the Woodward Sports Network. The final tally on the poll. Have you ever put Icy Hot on your male parts? 39% yes.
Yeah.
61% no. 40-60 now. It just changed.
Do we have any girls in there that have reported it as a yes?
I don't know. But, I mean, that's pretty crazy. Like, that's almost 50-50.
Well, we all went to high school.
Yeah, well, Icy Hot winds up in weird places. You guys have a great night. We will talk to you next week, Tuesday, 11 o'clock, for our very last Hard Knocks episode. But we will see you then. Peace.